And now, Freelance Heroism presents Return to Ravenloft.
Hey everybody, welcome to Freelance Heroism. My name is Dees.
And I'm Rachel.
And before we even get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone out there who donates to Patreon, in particular those who donate at the producer tier.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, would you like to let us know who they are?
I would love to. We want to say thank you to Duncan, Crispy, Nate, Breakmeister, and Rebecca. Thank you so much, everyone.
You help us make a better show for everyone, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you.
Thank you. Dees.
Rachel. Oh. Oh, okay. No, you go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to ask if you have heard the recent D&D news lately. No. So I haven't read up on it too much, but D&D 1 is coming out soon.
What is that?
It's the new version of D&D. So instead of we play 5e, instead of the new version being 6e, they're calling it D&D 1 or 1D.
Cool, and then we can do D&D 360. D&D Blue.
But I know they were going to release some information about the PHB. I don't know if they've done that yet. Like I said, I saw an announcement for it. I don't think they've actually released the info of this recording.
I hate modern D&D now. I hate it so much. Because, okay, this is gonna be maybe an unpopular take. So okay. I'm just gonna say it, and then everyone can get mad or whatever. But I don't care.
All right. Okay.
People like D&D now in the way they like their favorite video game franchise, and it's very upsetting to me. Right? Did you hear about the new? No, I didn't hear about the new thing. I'm imagining shit. I'm making stuff up. This is all a creative exercise. I don't need a bunch of people to invent a thing for me to play with. They gave me the rules in the 70s. I'm fine using those forever. You can change things to make it more convenient or whatever. The only time I ever have an argument about the way rules are written is when people are unwilling to budge because the book says X. So the book is causing me grief. All these books are causing me grief. We all know the rules and how they work. And sometimes we just have to just be like, I like this rule. I don't like that rule. That's stupid. Yeah. So just, I played D&D for a long time, and I never was like, new book coming out. Like, who the fuck cares? Right? Every time a book comes out, it's 500 things I don't give a flying fuck about, and 2 things that I'm like, oh, those are cool. But the thing is, I probably would have thought of those if I wanted to use them anyway, and I could have just talked to the DM and be like, how are we going to make this work? And we have all the rules to make it work. So then write it down somewhere if you need it, or just remember it. And now we'll just do it like that. And if the situation comes, well, does it just go on the surface of the ground, or does the orb go under the ground? Then we can have a discussion about how we think it works. The DM makes a ruling, and that's how we play it from now on.
Yeah.
I don't need 90 books a year to tell me how to use my fucking imagination, and worse off, to make the imagination less useful, right? They're telling me what I'm allowed to imagine. Fuck that. Look, if you want to create the physics of a universe, right? If you want to tell me, like, this is our recommendation for when you fall from a great height onto something sharp, how you calculate the fall damage versus the spiky bit at the bottom damage.
Right.
This is our recommendation, but you play how you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
The other day when we did that shield bash thing and you just kind of pitched a number and I was like, that's how we're rolling it, right? That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I was just about to say, let's say you're in a scenario where a cultist falls and then a horse lands on him and then a guy with a shield body slams.
I don't need a series of 3 books to tell me how much damage a falling horse does. Just wing it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't want to look it up. I don't want, people always want to look everything up. Tell me what sounds right. You're God in this equation. Tell me what's happening. If anyone in my games ever has to look something up, I'm going to be very upset. I never want them to look anything up. Like, this game was an imagination game, and it was given form by people who just we need some basic rules, right? And now it's like every time a book comes out, there's some new class with new spells and new abilities. Sure, those are fine,
Mm-hmm.
but like you could have done that on your own. Just sit down with your DM and be like, "Hey, I got some cool ideas. How do we make this work?" Me and DWalk have been engineering shit forever.
Uh-huh.
Like, right? Since early on, I'm like, dude, I want to play a cleric kind of fighter that's not religious. It doesn't have any of that. Is there a way we can convert this to a more like field medicine vibe? Right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? What do you think about this kind of thing?
Well, see, I feel a little personally attacked from your rant because I think anybody who's listened to literally any episode of our podcast
Yeah.
knows that I like knowing the rules and being able to say, well, the rule says this, so I can, like, there's room for me to interpret it like this, or because, for example, there's like the steady aim feat, and the title says aim, so you might think that that means it's just for ranged attacks, but the actual text of it never says ranged. It just says when you make an attack. So you could argue that you could also use that for melee.
Right, but
I
steady aim.
I like doing stuff like that. I like knowing the rules and saying, all right, these are the things that we all know.
But the rules
I wanna
are
argue about it.
unnecessary, is what I'm asking.
Uh-huh.
Do you feel like every one of these rules is required?
No, I think sometimes there are rules that are dumb or they don't make sense or they're just a hassle to look. Like we could have, with the example that you gave, we could have looked up, okay, what's the rule of like if a weight falls on somebody, like how much damage does that take? Okay, now let's look up how much a horse weighs. Okay, let's look up how much like a jumping attack would deal. Like how many feet did you fall to land on top of this cultist?
But that's fine. But then we don't need the book to tell us
No, I'm
if a
saying
horse falls, how much damage it does. They gave us the
right.
physics, and we can work backwards from what we need. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I don't want to look up pedantic stuff like that. Like
Right.
there's probably if you want to spend 20 minutes looking up different rules that sort of vaguely touch on that to piece it together.
But
I don't want to do that. I want to be like, okay, we all know a horse is heavy, so we'll say it does this amount of damage. Does that seem fair? Okay, let's continue.
right. But what about like you were just talking about the steady aim feat,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Is that necessary?
What do you mean necessary?
What does steady aim feat do?
If you don't take a move action, then you get advantage on an attack
Okay.
because you're aiming. So it's not that it's taking away your move action, but it is reducing your movement to 0, if I am recalling it correctly. So while the title of it is steady aim, the text of it just says when you make an attack, not a melee attack, not a ranged attack.
So isn't it just instinctual in our mind that if you're not moving around a whole bunch, you're probably more focused on whatever you're doing?
Yeah.
So couldn't you just say, if you don't take a movement action, then you get advantage on the task that you're attempting? Wouldn't that be easy enough?
I'm sure that people have done that before that came out.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. So then it was totally unnecessary for them to make that, right?
I mean, then you can just say that about any role.
That's what I am saying.
Okay.
That's what I am saying. I'm saying that there are 10,000 books that come out with all these granular things.
Mhm.
They cause conflicts with other things. How does this interact with this? There's a whole industry of people waiting for the next book to come out to tell them what kind of imaginings they're allowed to use. This is an imagination game.
Right.
Use your imagination. But there's like a whole generation of these players, and I don't want to sound like an old man, get off my yard kind of thing, but like there's a whole generation of these players that are just waiting for the next book to come out to tell them how they're allowed to imagine. And I'm like, what? They're like, oh, there's new classes coming out. I'm like, you could make it right now.
Yeah.
You could do it right now. Just you already know what you think about it is cool. So use those bits and ignore the bits you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a person to coach me through this. I guess some people do. I guess some people, but if my argument then is that if you like being told a game system and you don't like imagining on your own things that aren't instructed to you, then maybe D&D is not the game for you. Maybe you want to play like a mini, like maybe you want to play Warhammer, right? Maybe you want really detailed rules that structure everything. We've gotten away from it. Like at first it was all imagination. There was nothing. If you wanted to play a class that wasn't thief, I think it was elf was a class. Fighter, cleric, wizard, thief. If you wanted to play something outside of that, then you had to get creative, right? You had to be like, oh, well, I want a fighter who is really quick, so I'm going to build him like that. I'm going to make him a nimble fighter, right? Or if I want a heavy fighter, I'm going to make him heavy armor. I like that fantasy, right?
Uh-huh.
So make it in your head. They gave you the tools you needed to make it. But now it's like, I see people online that are like min-maxing and yelling at each other about the min-max. And I'm like, no one's life is like that. No one in real life is min-maxed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've gotten more into like a battle simulator, right? And further away from like the imaginative storytelling device that it was. So it's no longer an improv scene. It's more this fucking everyone get out your calculations and we'll negotiate damage. And it feels weird to me. If that's what people want, then that's what people want. I'm not telling anyone to not do what they want, right? Uh-huh. But when people ask me, they're like, you see the new book that came out? Never have I ever seen the new book that came out. I'm never going to. When you said D&D 1, that's the first time I ever heard about it.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? And if the entire table wants to play D&D 1 and I got to relearn the 8th rule set, then sure, I'll do it. But I just don't think it's required.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any massive advantage over what we were doing last time. When Pathfinder 2 came out, I was like, Pathfinder 1 was fine. Pathfinder 1 was fine. Pathfinder 2 is going to be fine too. We're just reinventing the wheel so these people can sell you guys fucking books.
Yeah.
They're just selling you books over and over and over again. And then they'll come up with a new system and they'll be like, and you'll never play the old system again. You'll just play the new one. And all those books that you bought will be toast. I don't know. I had a friend of mine who bought every D&D book, all of them.
Oh.
He spent so much money, like shit tons of money to buy this. Like he had never played an actual game. Sorry, Nate. I'm not our Nate, a different Nate. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to shit on you. I think it's very cool. It is a cool looking fucking cabinet, whatever. Uh-huh. I don't know. It's like he had never even played a game and he bought all these books. And so now he's ready to play the game. But by the time you get to half those books, the next one will be out. Like we just talked about 1 or whatever. So all the 5e books are toast. I don't know. It feels, and then we all get mad at them as D&D, like, as players. We get mad at the company. Right? Like they're trying to sell books. That's what they want to do. We want to play an imagination game. So don't buy the books. Just don't.
Yeah.
And they'll get it. They'll figure it out.
I mean, no one's
buying these fucking books.
Nobody's going to take 5e away from anybody if that's what they want to keep playing. So.
No, I'm just saying that the next one, 6e, was going to come out, or 1, or whatever we call it, and everyone's going to have to buy new books. And then, but why? We just use your imagination. If you want to play a rogue that has shadow powers, talk to your DM, figure it out. He can give you 3 or 4 cool shadow powers and maybe that, like, ability to get those early level spells. You know, if a book comes out, I want it to only be spells. If, you know, just as a way to coach someone, maybe I'd never thought about using it like that. And maybe some new feats. I don't need anything else. We got it.
Okay.
You want magic items maybe? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, people should run their own campaigns more. Just make them from your imagination. You don't gotta fucking get a fucking guy who wrote it for you. Just make it up. Am I an asshole for saying this stuff? I'm sorry, guys.
All right. Maybe we should go to this week's episode.
Get off my lawn.
We're going to go to Return to Ravenloft, Season 3, Episode 5, Let Your Guard Down.
Yeah.
It's time to...
Nadia gets a hold of you.
Yeah.
Captain, you need to be careful in the city.
Well, I wasn't expecting to go into the city just yet unless that's where Draga is.
I doubt it.
Okay, well...
Because they started releasing silver filings into the air. And into the water.
Well, that's not good at all.
No. Just a warning.
Okay. Well,
That's not great
in
for
case you-
the people who live there either.
No.
Man, this
No.
is a okay. Well, I won't take a swim, although maybe somebody else will.
The bay should be fine, but
Okay.
I wouldn't be drinking the well water in town anytime soon.
No. That's fine.
Nobody should.
But silver
Yeah, I
cures
mean,
5G.
we heard stories of the Kagrat, but these bastards are dark.
Yeah, that's an excellent way to put it. Look, get downstairs, get everybody else unchained, raid the storeroom, get everything silvered you've got. Bring me my silvered rapier if you don't mind. So the sounds of approaching enemies, because at this point I'm not really sure who it could be anybody at this point. Are they coming from the docks towards the boat? This is not like I'm not hearing Draga or seeing Draga's ship make its way to us, right? Because there are three other boats docked, including in addition to mine?
Actually, no, 4 others of Draga's, and his is out in the bay.
Okay, so there's my ship and 3 of his ship in the dock, and then his is out at bay. Am I able to see like his crew like getting up on deck on the other boats? Is that what we're seeing or hearing?
Give me a perception.
I would love to. 26.
You see a couple flashes in the distance, and then a whistling sound.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
And we cut to Il Aluk with Kaeviir and his guys.
Oh yeah, let's go to the boring shit now. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry I had a mouthful of cupcake. I didn't realize we were pivoted.
Nope. All right, so let me know when you're ready, dude. All good.
Yeah, I'm good. I just
Okay.
I was like I'm like, I got time to eat this cupcake, no problem.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're pivoted now. I'm like, oh shit. It's like your math teacher's like, hey, come up here. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
nothing desates more than being interrupted when he has a mouthful.
That's true.
That's how he keeps the DM happy.
Hey, first off, fuck you. You couldn't stop me if you guys tried. And also, this motherfucker down here using all the benefits of my boat to get at a crew he fucked up with, right? And this bitch over here is coming at me trying to save her mom. Oh, you know what? You guys are right. Your mom's dead. I'm repossessing my boat, and you can work with your old fish friends or whatever. And fuck you, D-Walk.
You don't know any of this
Fucking
is going on. That's
with
what's
a
great.
beginner Gimli beard.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I love you guys.
love you too.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, I think
It's
you're a
all
bag of
good.
shit.
Oh, that's sweet of you to say.
All right.
Like all shit.
Alrighty. All right. So you guys, it's about same evening time ish. As you reach the outskirts of Il Aluk or Il Aluk. I'm not really positive how to pronounce that shit. You guys would have been coming up on Il Aluk from also the southwest or southeast.
Okay.
You guys are actually coming up from the southeast. As you guys look upon it, you see the the Vucha River goes through the center of it. You see a number of the towns. You actually see you guys are on the noble side of the river.
Okay.
The town is run down. It's definitely not what it was. The smell of death and decay is heavy in this area. I mean, you can actually like see the forest itself in the area just affected by the just necromantic magic to
This is a town that has that kind of festival of the hunt, that purge thing.
yeah, well, kind of, yeah, where um Madame Eris will have a ball where she turns everybody invisible and they run out through the town killing and doing the whole purge thing for the night.
Right. Is that
And
what's happening now, or are we after the fact?
no, this is just a normal night in the town right now as
Oh.
you're seeing it.
Yeah.
The issue is the original Il Aluk, that you found out from traveling with Midnite was actually kind of trapped inside of the necropolis. This is the one that was built outside by the survivors, and they kind of just renamed it Il Aluk.
Right. It's
But
like a new Il Aluk.
yeah, but the necropolis and the issue of that is actually close enough nearby to where you can still feel the issue, the radiation of the necromantic magic just echoing that way.
Right.
So yeah, going too far to the
You're in New Chernobyl, the
Nice.
safe town.
yeah.
Right.
So if you
Yeah,
go
you're in
too
East St. Louis.
yeah, so I mean you're technically
Same thing.
okay if you stay at Il Aluk, but if you go to the south, actual west of it, because you guys are on the southeast, you actually enter the fog realm where the necropolis has actually been covered in the shroud.
Well, I assume that they know that, and that they're
Oh
probably
yeah,
not
no,
headed there.
100%. Yeah, Soth and Midnite have purposely kept you guys out of the shroud.
All right. So what I'm going to be doing while we're walking is I'm going to be rolling passive perception checks, and I'm going to be using my observation, my insightful manipulator on I'm sorry, what's the Lady Theirastra? Theirastra. Let me just let me get that syllable work down. Theirastra.
Theirastra.
Theirastra?
No, Theirastra.
I just said Theirastra. Right? Didn't I just say
I was saying no to David.
Oh, that was her name pre-curse. Post-curse, she's known as Sariel.
Sariel.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, all right. Sorry, we're going to be using O and P. I'm sorry, L. Sorry. All right. Well, I'm just going to be watching them. I'm going to be using Insightful Manipulator over the course of several individual minute-long instances to try to pick up as many different lingual tics or kind of ways of speaking, ways of like pretending like I'm going to mimic them. Right?
Okay.
But really what it is, I'm just trying to be overly perceptive to see if I can kind of intuit anything about their behavior or their state of mind. Like, does their hand go to their hilt when we turn a corner? She was a warrior, so I know kind of the general movements of a warrior. I've replicated them before. I'm looking to see if this facsimile or this overlay, I don't know what we're calling it yet.
Yeah.
This brain double, if they have sort of the same behaviors, like if it's instinctual. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, you do pick up that
I also want their stats too, by the way. Intelligence, wisdom. Yeah, intelligence, wisdom.
on which ones?
Intelligence, wisdom.
On all three or just?
Oh, well, I'll do all three eventually. Yeah, so intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So intelligence 17, and then I have 16. So
Okay, hold on, let me.
So if it's higher or equal or lower. All right, I'm gonna pound this 5-hour. 1 second. Your boy gone high voltage. Ah. By the way, you didn't have to interrupt our fight if you didn't want to, but I guess that was a good cutaway.
No, it gives me time to move around.
Yeah.
I appreciate it though. Okay, what was the intelligence?
17,
Okay, and the wisdom?
16,
Okay.
and charisma 16.
Okay. On Serial, you match her on wisdom, but you're higher on the other two.
Okay.
On Midnite, you're higher on wisdom and charisma, but he is higher than you on intelligence.
Okay.
You are higher than Soth on intelligence, matched on wisdom, and he's higher than you on charisma.
Interesting. Okie doke. Well then, okay, what I'll do then, after getting those basic sort of perceptions on the way, right? As we begin to enter town, I want to use my perception. I want to check every attempt that I get. I'm staying hyper vigilant to trying to notice if anything's sneaking up on us or if there's any things that feel out of place or maybe relevant information gathering, so to speak.
All right.
If you need my passive perception, it's 24, by the way.
Okay. 24. All right. When it comes to Serial, you would know a warrior when you saw one. You know from listening to Adria over the years, or over the time, not really years, but over the time that
It's felt like years.
yeah, it's felt like years. Out of game, it's been years.
Well,
But you
it's
know
only
over
been
the
half the time for Adri, apparently.
yeah. I mean, she kind of blocked out almost 10 years.
Yeah.
But poor Rain had to live through it all. Deece got Kaeviir got a break and came back, and then she kind of slept through it all. So, but where was I? Oh, you knew the stories of the Paladin, the one that would, that fought against a dark necromancer and pushed back an army, got betrayed.
Right.
The one in front of you, it actually still carries herself as a paladin, but the biggest difference you pick up is it's an oath breaker.
Okay.
It's not it's not the holy, not the stickler, not the divine intervention that Adri's mother was. Whatever this identity is, sells its sword to the highest bidder. You know, semi follows the tenets of almost more of a blackguard than a paladin.
This is why you're never a goody two shoes in the world. If you're a goody two shoes, then you lose all frame of reality once you're removed from yourself, right? You just like all the things you didn't do in life, you start doing. I'm gonna sell my sword for money and I'm gonna drink and do drugs. And look, man, I drink and do drugs anyway. So the worst thing that can happen to me is an upgrade. I just get better. You know? It's
So,
all upside from here.
you see her pretty much aware as you guys travel. She keeps, if there's a noise, she slightly turns to it. Not that like a fear react, more of a confrontational react.
Yeah. Does she have a shield?
Not, yes, she carries a shield.
She have it deployed like out on her arm or is it on her back?
She carries it on her back.
Right. So
you do notice something about her shield that is unique. There's a mechanical device in it that she carries a lever. There's a lever inside. When she pulls it, a punch blade comes out of the end of the shield.
okay. Sort of like a spike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, almost like it actually like turns the shield into almost a giant like punch blade. So when she pulls at the base of the shield, this like almost
Sharpens,
short
right.
sword style dagger, not or like triangle, comes out of the base of it.
Right.
So
Okay. Well, that's until I have any reason to change my behavior or to act, I'm just gonna stay silent and be observational.
all right. As you guys reach the outer hill, Soth stops and looks over the town. Midnite, are you sure this is it? Dr. Midnight's positive. The madam is here. It's the only place she stays.
The madam? Question mark. I look around.
Soth looks over. Madam Eris, you met her at our meeting of the ill-fated.
Hmm.
She, from what the stories say, she was a noble. She sought beauty secrets. She controls the other nobles through secrets and lies and blackmail.
Oh, sounds fantastic.
Somehow she became a decent in the ways of magic. Midnight, my spy said that she wasn't that well, and now it seems that my spy gave me a second report saying she is. Dr. Midnight could care less one way what she thinks she is.
So just to clarify, this is all a positioning type thing. You guys are coming here to off your competition.
They both look over and give you a nod.
So then this is some sort of like a caucus. Some sort of a committee group here.
Soth and Midnight kind of look at each other. And Dr. Midnight says that's a good name for it.
What about you, Sorrel? Are you jockeying for position?
No, I just know that my sword's best served one of these two because that's the only way I'm going to survive this. The land's falling apart. And I kind of like Darkon. I don't want to leave it. And which means we got to get somebody new as a Dark Lord, and I don't see anyone surviving one of these two.
I just wanted to bring up that I haven't received any filings from either of you.
Soth laughs. I told you I wrote you a letter and bodies at the last one. Spelled your name out. You never gave me an address.
I would expect the Dark Lord to be able to figure that out.
Previous Dark Lord.
I'm going to take out a book and I'm going to mark a -1 next to Soth's name.
You don't get a gold star today.
And I'm going to slap it closed.
Daryl's like, if you look yonder, you can see the floodgates. We can flood the town so we don't even have to deal with the peasants. We just flood the town, wipe most of it out.
Hey.
We wouldn't even have to deal with it.
No. Look.
Soth looks over. I agree with a professional. We need to meet this head on.
No, that's
childish.
That's not what I'm saying. Listen. You guys are so ramped up. If you want to be a lord, if you want to do violence, which I'm not necessarily opposed to, it should be targeted. Widespread violence creates chaos. You could create the enemy that you have to fight tomorrow, today, by being non-surgical. Why would you cause yourself future conflict? We have a target, we handle a target. Fair? Should be something well within the wheelhouse of someone who plans to rule over the land. You know, to target the enemy that you're targeting, not everyone in a 5-mile radius.
Thought chuckles. You actually think I was going to try to fight every town? Every member of the town? No. The town still needs support. You destroy the town, you have no, there's no structure, there's no agriculture, there's no taxes. The town still needs to be, survive. You can't rule over a pile. Well, I could rule over a pile of dead, but Midnite? Dr. Midnite's just along for the ride.
How about this? I propose a wager. 5 points in the journal. And I'm going to pull out the book again. Keeping tally of your performances. I want each of you to go your separate way and find your target. First person to identify them gets 5 points. First person to off them gets 10. You're both vying for the same position. How do I separate you if you do all the same tasks together? At the end of the day, it's going to come down to the two of you.
Dr. Midnight thinks the professional isn't thinking clearly. Soth doesn't want the position. Soth wants me in the position. So Soth can leave.
How about this? How about both of you get points put on whoever's title you want? If Soth wants you to be leader, then he finds her and puts points under your name. That way you guys can pin each other against it. It's not about who's going to receive the mantle of leadership. It's about who gets to choose who receives the mantle of leadership. Fair?
Professional. You think I care if you pick the leader? Soth begins to walk down towards the town.
You will. You know, overconfidence is a failing of a lot of former Dark Lords.
So's running the mouth.
Oh, it's always worked out for me. Thanks. Look, you can choose not to play if you'd like, but someone's going to get stuck with the crown, and I'd hate to be the one who didn't participate in the choosing. I'm going to look at Midnite and wink.
Midnight shrugs. He's like, Dr. Midnight's not gonna like this.
Unless Dr. Midnight wins, then he might enjoy it very much.
Dr. Midnight knows better than to put Soth in command again of a realm.
Well, you guys have all these points that you can allocate however you like. I'll let you guys make that decision making.
Dr. Midnight knows we're not going to put anyone else on the throne.
I'm going to remain silent and light a pipe.
Dr. Midnight begins to walk down with him, or following Soth. Cyril's like, you know she's not going to see this coming, right?
Are you talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think she's going to see it coming?
If she sees it coming, she better start running. She has nothing in that fort or that estate that can withstand those two.
This is Sorrel talking to me. And they've walked up ahead, right?
Yes, they have.
Well, I'm gonna hang back and try to, by my positioning, sort of make her hang back. Do you smoke?
No. That's a human trait.
Spent a lot of time with elves, actually. Elves do smoke.
Oh, I know. Never could stand them.
Smokers or elves?
I don't mind people smoking. Half my enemies end up smoking.
That's funny.
I thought so.
Any family?
None that's important.
No, I agree on that. I kind of chuckle and tap my pipe to settle the tobacco. So, you originally from around here?
I wasn't born in Darkon, no. I came here later.
What'd you think of that bard from earlier? Cute, huh? I'm gonna get all this and I'm gonna have her sign documentation saying that she doesn't think Ludo is cute, and then I'm going to rub it in his face every time I see him.
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna hold up a scroll case.
Bards aren't really my thing.
Oh, yeah, no, mine either. Especially ones who aren't Flute and the violin. Do you have a favorite instrument?
Cries of my enemies? Does that count?
I mean, no, not particularly.
You see her kind of itching to get down there. Just kind of.
They can handle it.
Oh, I know
Right?
they can. But I enjoy it. She pulls her sword.
You know, one of the surefire ways to fail an engagement is to be flanked. And I'm gonna lean back against some of the like rubble.
She turns and faces you as she's walking, hold out her arms. Then I expect from your so qualified self can handle the flank.
Wow.
Since you hold yourself in such high esteem, only one does so either if they're an idiot or they're capable. And Dr. Midnight says you're not an idiot. So
Well, whatever.
she gives a slight head bow and turns around.
Is she heading that way?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that engagement's the thing that might be flanked. You turning your back to me was a mistake as well. Look, I don't claim to know the martial arts as well as you. You with your weapons and spears and, whatever. But I have been to many kingdom and I have seen many power struggles. And I do know that flanking doesn't necessarily always occur on the battlefield. Sometimes it occurs in a chamber. Sometimes it occurs on the way to church. Sometimes during weddings. There's lots of ways to flank your enemy. I'm just saying that you should be mindful of them. And then I'm going to tap my pipe, put more tobacco in, and start walking along with her.
She gives you a nod.
We fools have much wisdom to share.
Oh, I never said you were a fool. I said you were either a fool or you were really capable. We'll find out which.
Will we?
I think so.
All right. Well, I guess we'll continue.
She's like, Lord Soth,
Oh, my
how about we
God.
do this no magic? Just metal to metal. Soth draws a sword, turns. Agreed.
No. What? No. Silly.
One of the town guards comes running up and Soth just backhands it. Keeps walking. No magic.
I am not going to engage in any combat unless they directly attack Theirastra, and in a way that seems like she can't handle it.
All right.
Like if she gets swarmed or someone shoots a fireball or something. I'm trying to make sure she's safe, whether or not she knows that's what I'm doing. I'll be
Understood.
subtle about it.
All right. Sounds good. They begin down the main road. Most of the townsfolk are barricading them. The minute they start hearing, they see the sight of these coming down, you can hear the shutters slamming, the doors locking. You see a few on the as you guys continue walking by. You see a man sitting there kind of crouched in robes, boils on his arms and skin with a cup trying to, he was asking for coppers originally, but he's kind of withdrawing. As you guys continue walking, Midnight walks over and crouches down, begins waving his hand over him. You see an eerie green glow as the boils begin to disappear. After a few moments, they're gone, and he looks up and Dr. Midnight thinks you should run as fast as you can away.
That way.
Dr. Midnight thinks you do not want to see what happens. Stands up and matches Kaeviir step for step after that. As the two up front are dispatching any guards that make their way towards them.
Can I roll a perception check on the guy that he
Mhm.
healed? Do you mind?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna take the 10. So 25.
Okay.
20. Yeah, 25.
Okay.
The clothing that the guy was wearing. How
Um,
roughshod does it look?
it was bad.
It's bad.
Beggar's rags. Part of it was kind of molded,
Naturally
moldy.
bad, not manufactured bad.
Yeah, no, naturally bad.
Okay.
It's definitely been out there in the mud and the rain, and it covered him enough, but it was torn in holes and whatnot.
Okay. I'm just observing. I want to make sure that I don't miss anything as
As you guys walk through the town, you see the shops and the houses and the smaller places are run down, beat up. The wood's not retreated, it's not taken care of. But you see the estates are better, more grounded, more surrounded with fences and
they're sort of kept.
mhm. They have their own guards. You guys pass one estate coming in that the guards don't even leave. They kind of barricade the chain of the gate, and they're standing on the other side, just trembling, hoping that
The guards that are doing that, are they wearing different garb than the others?
no,
Okay.
they're not all in uniform. There's not like a set uniform for the area, but
Right.
I mean they're in the same style
More
of leather and armor.
more the point is I'm asking sort of
It's does each estate have its own style of or
individual garb?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Does it look like that each individual housing area has its
no.
own guards?
Each of the different estates that you can see seem to have a few of their own guards to that estate.
Right.
They don't actually come out to engage. Most of the ones you guys are seeing are actually coming out of the town.
Right.
So,
I'm just checking to see the type of society we're in. If it's
okay.
sort of more, if it's a fair system or if it's more of a caste system where each is like more feudal. Each house has their own guards and their own.
It doesn't take long until you guys actually get up to Madame Eris's estate and the gates.
How close? Quick question. As we approach the
Yes.
gate, everyone piling pretty close together at the gate, or are they all kind of spread out? Soth and Midnite.
Soth and Serial seem to be standing both equally, maybe between 5 and 10 feet, shoulder to shoulder. They're not like next to each other, but
Yeah.
they're keeping in line with each other.
Is Cyril have a cloak, a cape?
What's left of one, kind of an
Okay.
older over shoulder. It was like an over shoulder cloak or
As it
cape, but it's been torn and ragged over the time, and she doesn't really seem to keep it up. It does carry Aslan's crest on it, but
I want to get to
sin-
the range. The explosion range of a fireball is about 30 feet, right?
yeah, something like that.
All right. I'm going to kind of pinch her cloak for a minute and kind of like tug a little bit to slow her down as she approaches that range. And I'm going to hold my hand up to not be threatening. And I'm going to take my foot about 30 feet and kind of draw a line in the sand
Okay.
or in the dirt in front of us. I'm like, hang back.
As she does, you actually see Soth stop too and begin actually pacing back and forth. You're like, you sense something?
It's better not to be cluttered at the gate of someone who we just heard has been studying magics.
Understood. At the gate, you see three approach. One of them you actually recognize as Octivo Bassini. You met him when you guys fought the Decurious.
He invited us here.
Mm-hmm. He's standing with another.
Can I hail him?
Of course. You got one. The one next to him is in plate. He's in splint again, and then you see the one next to him. She's in robes.
I'm gonna fire a message to Midnite. Tell him to hang back. Soth too. Can you back him up a bit?
So Soth, he kind of motions you to go ahead and forward.
Friend.
He looks over. You look familiar. Oh fuck, I
But-
can't remember this guy's accent. Hold on.
I actually just edited the episode where we talked to him. He
Yeah.
has like a Russian accent, and it's so pronounced
okay.
that during the game I go, "Is this new Ragnick?"
Okay. Thank you.
Question.
Comrade, is that you?
Little older, yeah. Put on a few years since last we spoke.
Oh, you. Hold on. Let me try this again. Not that Russian accents are as popular now as they used to be.
Yeah, no shit.
Wow, for prosperity, do I want to change this?
No, it's fine. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
You look familiar.
I am familiar.
No. How you grow so fast?
I'm just talented, I guess. Seems we have sort of a situation here. Do you have a moment to speak?
I walk forward, you walk forward, my friends stay, your friends stay.
Sounds fair.
Emotions the other. It's okay, I know him. We broke blades together.
I've known
Against-
Kevin since he was yay tall.
We broke blades together against the Curious Rex.
Actually, a little bit about that.
Soft kind of just like you can feel behind him like just like this like but go
Turns
for it.
out there was some sort of confusion about that.
Oh, do say he walks forward too, and he stops about halfway between you guys and him.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay the same distance, sort of mirroring his position.
Okay.
Turns out that wasn't Rex.
No.
I know, I was surprised too.
I'm not upset. Like, it didn't make sense it went that well if it actually was Rex.
That's fair.
I mean, the Tales of Rex, he wiped out entire civilizations just for breathing wrong.
That's true.
And this one, I'm not saying we're wimps, but we took him down.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah. So I have an offer.
Tell me your friends are still alive. I much enjoyed the captain and your elf friend.
Yeah, they're still alive. They're out there doing some work right now, actually. So here's our quandary. Your lady upstairs,
Oh, the madam.
the madam. I hate to tell you this. You might be looking for work soon. See, my friends have it in their mind that they're going to go ahead and depose her. And between you and me, I think it's probably going to happen. This is, we fought together. Fair offer.
Tell me. Is that really Lord Soth?
That's really Lord Soth. And
Oh,
the other
fuck.
guy's more dangerous, probably.
Who's the other guy?
I'd rather not say.
But you're telling me there's a soul that walking this ground that's worse than Soth?
I'm telling you, yeah, that's probably the case.
Is
And
he
I'm
is
gonna
he
look-
worse
I'm
than
gonna-
Aslan,
I'm gonna
the
look.
Lich?
I'm gonna look back at Soth and be like, "Sorry, bro. You know." Should have got those points when you had the chance. Probably.
Oh shit.
So because of our previous entanglement, I figured it was only fair, and they give you the opportunity to leave without any harm coming to you. And I'm going to say that while I turn back to the three. And you can find other work somewhere else where, kindness for kindness.
Give me a perception or a persuasion check.
Sure. I'm going to take the 10.
Okay.
It's going to be a 20.
Okay. He paces back and forth.
I'm going to look over at his friend and be like, I don't know you. Sorry.
The guy in plate just is like, he looks back. He's like, no. Octavio's just kind of scratching his head. He begins to scratch his chin.
You know what? One moment. And I'm going to turn back to them. It's like, word is here for her, right?
You talking about the madam?
The madam.
I prefer that.
Then can I make an offer to them?
Soth looks at Midnite. I don't mind. I've never had an issue with negotiations.
I turn back to them and be like, I've just heard it from the big man that if you and the rest of your soldiers want to get out of here, no harm will come to you. Well, at least not here.
Give me persuasions for the other two. You can use one roll.
I'm going to take the 10 again. The 20.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me check some rolls. Okay. 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 Octavio. Yo. Kevin.
Yeah.
How far does the grace you show extend?
What were you thinking?
Well, I live pretty good here under the madam. And
You're looking for a promotion.
well, I see Soth has, or I'm assuming the elf works for you or one of them.
I'm going to subtly tap my chest.
Really? The blonde in the plate works for you?
And I'm going to look back and wink at her and be like, yes.
Bullshit. What do you pay?
Depends on what the job is.
I'm
Perhaps
good
you'd
with my
like
sword.
I'm gonna look kind of sideways off into the distance, but keep an eye on Soth, and we're like, I'm always accepting recommendations in the form of letter.
Fuck off.
Look, if you step out of here, you and we can start our negotiations while they start theirs. The faster this gets handled, the faster you and I can go ahead and work on something more productive. The longer we wait here, the more impatient they get, and the worse your positioning, your bargaining position.
I really, really don't want to fight him.
I really
I don't want to
don't
fight you
want
either. You're amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
But
compliments.
You don't massacre.
No. If I can help it, I try not to.
Like, you're reasonable.
I think so.
Not saying you're not, Lord Soth. You.
The longer we take here, the less.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you.
Go ahead and unlock
Octavio's your man. Fuck
come
these two.
No,
They're like, really?
They can come with.
The other two are like, they kind of look at each other. You can hear them whisper, "Are you kidding? Did he just fucking switch?" The madam, like, Yeah, well, that may be Soth. That's Midnite. Like Dr. Midnite? Dr. Midnite. Wait, he's like old as shit. We're
Have you
good.
heard?
Yep, we're
Have you
good.
heard? Have you
We're
heard
good.
about Lord Nate? He's
So
older than
they've
shit.
kind of both look up. Yeah, we're not. Yeah. So the other two begin to like just kind of give you nods and walk off.
They open the gate.
They leave the gate open and they walk the other way.
I'm gonna grab
They're
one of
heading
their
into
arms.
town.
I'm gonna grab one of their arms and lean into him and be like, "Which room?"
They look up and they point to the window. You see the mirror reflection up there?
I'm gonna look
She's
back.
most likely on the other side.
I'm going to look back at Soth and Midnite. How about it?
They look at each other. Midnight's like, he kind of gives Soth a nod and Soth just begins to walk towards it. Sorry, he'll stay here. Just walks past the gate, one foot after the other. She's like, the fuck I am.
When he pointed to the window, he said the mirrored reflection.
Well, the windows have like a mirror face,
Okay.
so you don't see through them.
Okay. I got you. I thought there was a mirror on the inside of that window.
I did too.
Oh.
I was like, the way he
Oh.
said, you see the mirror reflection, she's on the other side. And I was
Yeah,
like,
I was
oh
thinking,
no.
I was like, we're gonna have to go through a fucking mirror, and I'm like, this is my specialty, guys. So just hold up there, post up.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, the windows have a mirror finish.
I like the idea that we're all gonna wear like Dickies jumpsuits with our names written on them, and we're gonna be the mirror cleaners. Like we send them in whenever there's Mia trouble. You see.
You see Sothan draws his sword and he hits the fucking front door and just shatters through and just continues to walk in.
I'm gonna look Soriel blank. And I'm gonna walk to the other side of the building.
She gives you a nod and follows Soth through the front doors.
No, Jesus Christ. They're gonna sneak out the back.
Dr. Midnight's like, Dr. Midnight thinks it's best you and me walk around back then. I'm not getting blood on my robe.
These people are rookies.
This is classic Lyodin family behavior. None of these women listen to anything Kaeviir says.
So,
genetic. It's like genetic douchebaggery. I didn't know that was a thing.
so Octavio sticks with you as you guys, I guess, walk around the back.
I'm gonna put my finger up against my lips.
He nods.
We'll negotiate once this is done.
All right. All right. Fuck. Where is that book? Okay. Nope, not that book.
Kaeviir will talk an army out of fucking position. I swear to God, this guy is mean. Like any other person who's like fights the guards, Kaeviir's like, hey, want a job? It's like that scene from Scarface. Hey man, you got a job.
Yeah. Okay.
You're gonna call me in the morning.
4 books fucking open right now. And okay,
I am
69.
so fucking certain I could talk fucking Rain's crew. Like that whole fucking crew. I bet I could have talked them down. I bet you would have had a whole ship full of people. I could talk them out of combat. I know it. Until it doesn't work and I get shot in the chest. And then, you know, Bad AG's back.
Oh. As you're walking around the back, you hear a spell fire off from the upper room.
Oh.
Fireball goes out the glass. You see an actual chair like get thrown out the window.
I would be like, Fireball. Who could have possibly suspected?
You see a bunch of the house staffs running out through any door they can. Some of them are hopping out the windows. You see a few are hopping out the second story windows.
I want to observe them as they're exiting.
Some of them are actually taking like golden trinkets with them as they're running out because they're pretty sure it's over.
Yeah.
Others are just in full like holy shit screaming and just like we're not doing this today. We're done.
Your life is your most valuable possession.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm gonna look at Octavia and be like, you made a good call.
I think so. You see a couple of footsteps begin running in the dirt next to you. Soth peers out the window, his hand comes out, it glows, and she becomes visible. About 10 steps.
10 steps from
You. She stops when she becomes visible. He's like, no magic rolls out the window. Cyril's like, she ran. It's no longer fair.
I got some bad news for you, lady.
She looks over. Who are you?
I'm the person you should have sent that letter to.
Oh, you're the kid in the trench coat.
Master Kaeviir, the professional. Thank you very much. I assume you'll let the afterlife know about me.
How much to save me from him?
From Soth?
Mm-hmm.
How much you got?
Anything the town will pay.
The town's theirs. They're taking it. Do you? I feel like we're missing a lot of our communication here. Hi, my name's Master Kaeviir, the professional. I'm
Wait,
not
the
from
one that
here.
killed Strahd?
That's me.
You hear a black speech. Darkness just like rips through the air in Soth's voice. And rolling. She fails. And you can just see her grab her throat as it begins to writhe, as her body begins to collapse upon itself and just writhe and die in front of you.
Say hey to the other side for me. Tell them Master Kaeviir said hey.
Just as the skin begins to like suck into the bones as it collapses and becomes frail and just kind of collapses until it begins ash and smoke and just dust in the wind.
Oh, we're not in Kansas anymore. Get it?
Oh my god.
Soth just nods. His eyes flash fire for a second. Dr. Midnight almost forgot he could do that. Dr. Midnight's gonna have to remember that.
Where's your next set of travels taking you?
Dr. Midnight's not sure. Dr. Midnight believes we took out all the public ones.
I could use a hired hand.
Dr. Midnight don't work for you.
Not you. But
No.
I could use your companion here.
Cyril?
She's a competent soldier.
She
I
is.
figured maybe if I was the one paying her, she'd listen better. But she seems capable.
Dr. Midnight thinks she must talk to her or talk to Soth. Dr. Midnight says it's Soth that she swore her sword to.
Help me out here, Midnight. What's the pivot point for this? How do I talk him into letting me? I think you know why.
Dr. Midnight knows, of course. Dr. Midnight was able to put it together when he saw Ludo's jaw hit the floor. Dr. Midnight knows exactly who you think she is.
Who I know she is.
Dr. Midnight thinks it makes sense. Dr. Midnight knows Aslan well.
Let's make
Knew
a bargain.
Aslan well.
Let's make a bargain. Let's make a trade.
Dr. Midnight knows Soth isn't attached. Dr. Midnight knows Soth doesn't attach to any living thing. Soth tolerates living things. Dr. Midnight knows Soth's heart only is attached to one living thing.
What does she need? What does she want? What's her goal?
Dr. Midnight believes it's power, survival. She had security. Dr. Midnight thinks her position was secured under Aslan in the private of the Kargat.
Maybe I can make her an offer.
Dr. Midnight might be able to help. Dr. Midnight could convince Soth of an army in the necropolis. Dr. Midnight knows no living soul can enter the necropolis right now.
All right. Well,
He shifts his voice for a second to where only you can hear. Because I know you are capable, Kaeviir, but even capable cannot survive the necropolis and the necrotic magic that seems there.
well, I'm glad you hold me in such low regard.
It's not that. It's the curse that'll come upon you for stepping into there. Anything living cannot live there.
I don't know if you know this, but I've died quite a few times. I'm very familiar with it.
He pats you on your shoulder and he switches back to his Midnight persona. Dr. Midnight doesn't think ill of you. Otherwise, Dr. Midnight wouldn't have watched over you all this time.
I appreciate it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna pop my collar
Dr.
up.
Midnight also doesn't know anyone else as old as Dr. Midnight. And he taps him.
I'm gonna look around. It's like it's these youngins, right?
He shrugs.
Well, if you'll excuse me for a moment, I have a negotiation to win. I'm gonna pop my collar up and tuck my coat straight and start walking over towards the front door. Thanks for listening to Freelance Heroism. We really appreciate you coming in and listening. We also really appreciate all the people who support our Patreon. By supporting the Patreon, you're going to get behind the scene uncut clips that you'll get to see sort of like maybe the tissue behind some of the edited, cleaned up content. And you'll get that whenever we have a big block of it to drop, as well as any updates or any information behind the scenes stuff that we think the Patreons would like to know. So if you'd like to support our Patreon and help us continue making the high quality, high octane podcast that you've come to expect, go ahead to patreon.com/freelance_heroism. Thank you. And as usual, the invoice is in the mail. Rachel uses Pantene Poop V
No, I don't.
shampoo.
Oh my god.
True. Rachel puts poop in her hair.
No.
Poop in there. That's why it's so shiny all the time. There's poop dripping down the sides. Are you mad, Rachel?
About what?
About the poop? About the number 2? Are you mad about the number 2? The doo-doo
No.
shoot?
No, because it's not true.
It's true.
That's like asking, "Are you okay?" "I'm fine."
Okay, as long as they say they're fine, that's fine. It'll hold up in a court of law. I give a shit about. I'm gonna do any deep digging over here. I'm just like, are you okay? Yes. Okay. Fine. Thank you. If you would just sign here, stating that you did verbally assert that you are fine, and initial here, and once again right here, and if you could put the date. Thank you.
We look at the transcript. You
I am
did say,
fine.
I
quote, I am fine.
To which I replied, even with that doo-doo in your hair? And you said, I'm fine.